Hi everyone, welcome. In this video, we are going to build full-fledged to-do application from scratch and with all the functionalities. Plus, we are going to use MySQL database to store our to-dos and to manage the task completion status. Plus, we are going to use the Thymeleaf. Okay, so it's a complete full-fledged application. Okay, so before starting the video, first let me show you the demo, like what we're gonna build. Okay, fine. So you can see this is my to-do application, this is my task panel, and this is my table. Okay, and this is my MySQL workbench. I have one table in it, to-do table, okay, which is currently empty. You can see null, null, null. I can also show you in MySQL command line. This is the command line. I can show you. Fine. So select a star from to do. Okay, to do is my table name. You can see empty set. Currently it is empty. Fine. Now let me do one thing. Let me add few tasks. Let me add few tasks. For example, any demo task. So demo task 1. Okay, demo task 1. Let me add it. Add to do. You can see the task is added and listed here with the task name what I have given, task status not done currently, yeah, and the actions on it, update and delete. Fine. And suppose let me add few more tasks. Okay, so demo task 1, demo task 2, okay, demo task 3. Fine, so there are 3 tasks I have added, 1, 2 and 3. Okay, now let me go to my database and refresh it. See, demo task 1, 2 and 3 with the completion status as 0, 0, 0. That means not done. That means false. Okay, fine. Now suppose task 1 got completed. Task 1 got completed. So just see here. Okay, it is currently not done. Just see here. When I just checked it, because my task 1 got completed, so when I just checked it, see, it changes to done and simultaneously it updated in the database. Because when I refreshing, you see, it is not changing because the data is coming from the database. I'll go to the database and I refresh it. Currently it is 0. Okay, now just see here, see 1. That means the task got completed. If you stop the application and again start it, same thing will appear. And this is what happens in actual to do application, right? Fine. Next thing is, suppose you wanna update it. So you wanna update, okay, task 1. So suppose you wanna update to task 1 to task 6. Okay, demo task 6. Update it, update it. Yeah, go here, refresh it. See, task 6. Okay, suppose you wanna delete it. Suppose you wanna delete the task 6. Delete it. Are you sure you wanna delete this to do? Okay, gone. Go to the database, refresh it, gone. Only 2 and 3 left. Okay, so this is what the full flash application, and see, this is happening using Thymeleaf to replace JSP and introduce the Thymeleaf plus MySQL database. Fine, so this is what the full flash application. Let's start the video. Okay, fine. Okay, so let's see the code flow. Okay, let's see the code flow. How we're gonna create this application step by step from scratch. What should be the flow, so that you can also build at your own. No need to watch my videos further while I'm coding. Okay, that's why let's see the first code flow. Fine. And yeah, before starting, if you haven't subscribed my channel, then please subscribe, like and share. Okay, fine. Be focused and keep your phone on silent. Okay. At first, we'll create a class by the name to-do. Simple, we'll create a to-do class. We'll create a class by the name to-do. Fine, created. Now, what should be the properties of to-do? There are 2 main properties of to-do. First is string task content. Yeah, user come here and write the task. Okay. Second is boolean. Boolean is, or I can say boolean completion status, task completion status. Is it completed or not completed, done or not done? Fine, agreed. Okay, done. To do work is done. Now we'll create a HTML form, not JSP, HTML form. How and where, I'll tell you later. Okay, HTML form. We're gonna replace JSP completely. Fine. In that form, we'll create a input type. Okay, so that user can write the task, and a button. A button. Add to do. Simple. Okay, done. See, done. Simple. Next, we'll create the most important class, that is our controller class by the name to do controller. Simple. We'll create a class, we'll create a package controller, and then in that we'll create a class to do controller. Okay. Now what should be what should be the content of this to do controller? Tell me one thing. What are the functionalities of to do? Will create the to dos. Second, will update our to dos. Third, we will delete a particular to do. We will get all our to dos, list of to dos. Fifth, we can manage our task completion status, whether it is done or not done. Functionality, okay. All the things we are going to handle in controller. So what we're going to do is we'll create 4 methods: create, update, delete, and get all. Okay, create method handle the creation, update method handle updation, delete method handle deletion, and get method will get us the list of to do so that we can display in the this form to the user. The last functionality, we will handle this in Thymeleaf, okay, in our HTML. How? I'll tell you later in this video. Done? I got it concept? Okay, fine. Next thing, we'll create the service class. Another important thing. Service package, in that to do service. Okay, what we're gonna do is service class, I told you, for business logic, to handle the exception. Suppose I'm updating some task. So to update some task, first I need to fetch that task from the database based on ID. Okay, and suppose I'm getting null value. So to handle the null pointer exception, I tell you how to handle using the optional. My last video, if you haven't watched, then please watch it. My last video to using optional will handle the null pointer exception, and updation deletion will done in service layer, business logic. Okay, Java coding. Fine. Another layer will create packages repository. Okay, the name is to do repository. Fine. Here we will write the methods. The method which will contact the database. MySQL database. Okay, now let's run this application. Hypothetically assume that we have done all our coding stuff. Okay, the application is completed. Okay, just assume it. So let's run our application. Now just answer me one thing. Tell me one thing. When we run our application, we want that in database a table should get created. What table? To do table. Why? Because we want to store the task and the completion status in the database. Okay, so to store this, we want a table got created with the column as these fields. Yeah, with the column as these fields. One column is task content and other column is that completion status. So we want that. Okay, so to achieve it, we need to do two things. First, we need to add one more variable, ID variable, and the other thing is we need to add at entity annotation on the class to inform Spring that okay, I have added entity annotation in this class. So I want when I run my application, Spring come check this class entity annotation. Okay, Spring will create the same class table in the database with the fields as column name. Okay, more thing we'll do when we code. Okay, I'll tell you everything, how, where, when, everything. Just now remember this thing. Okay, so we've added entity annotation and added the ID variable. So when we run our application, Spring will create a to do table in my MySQL database with these fields, with these properties as a column name, ID and task content and completion status. Okay, fine, done, job done. Now this is the user. This is the user. User come here and user want to application is running. Okay, table is created. It is empty, just like I have shown you. Currently table is empty. Okay, now user come here and user want to create a task. User come here and user write here some task. Click on the add to do button. When user clicks on the add to do button, a request will go to the controller. To where? To the create method. We will handle it using URL pattern, action, form. Fine. So user will hit to the controller, the create method handle the request and the most important thing is will carry the to do object. Okay, see we have added here task content. We have added here this task content. This we have added here. Okay, when we click on the add to do, we will get in the create method, we will fetch a to do object with the task content as the user written, whatever user written as an object. We will get the to do object. Okay, in that we'll get all three fields, task content, ID and this boolean. Okay, so whatever user has added here, task content, that got updated here, ID is null and completion status by default as false, and that object will get here in create method. Okay, in the request, how, what, where, when, everything I'll tell you. Basic one annotation, just one annotation, and we'll get it when user submit the form, how to get the object with the updated value. Okay, I'll tell you everything. Just remember, okay, I'm getting the to do object with the updated task content what user has created, added here. Fine. Now here I got the request. The controller will send the request to the service layer. Okay, fine. Service layer will send the request to the repository layer, and repository layer using the some methods will contact to the database and save the record here. So one, what user added task content, so the task content here added here, okay, whatever, and this completion status as initially 0, that means not done. what I have shown you. Okay, flow of the code. Same thing for the updation. Same thing. Okay, when we are trying to update, we want the ID also, because we want to update a particular task, right? So when suppose a task is created here, and when user want to update, so user updated the content and click on the update button, click on some update button. So when user will click on the update button, a request, same request will go and carry now the to do object with the updated content and the ID of it. Okay, now you might be thinking that how request is carrying the ID. Like, okay, the request will carry the to do object, but how the ID? Okay, so we will pass the ID in the URL. So there is also one annotation. I'll tell you, don't worry, I'm not gonna leave anything. Okay, when we code, so you will become the master. Fine. So for the updation request, update will carry two things, ID and to do object. Fine. And then the controller will send the request here. Fine. In the service class, we will fetch the old to do object. Here in the service class, we will fetch the old to do object using the ID, because ID remains same. Using the ID we will fetch, and using getter setter we will set the old with new, and then same thing, pass here and then update here. Got it? Okay, got it. If you're not getting, then please don't worry, because I'm gonna code in such a way, in such a step by step, so that if you have confusion here, so I guarantee you will not have confusion after we code. And I want you to just try once at your side, because everything is in front of you. HTML, okay, class. Like suppose if you don't know how to do configuration of MySQL, okay, I'll handle. How to write the code in Thymeleaf, I'll handle. But this basic skeleton, right? Okay, fine. So this is what all about the code flow. Okay, so now let's go and jump directly into the code. So first let me create the project setup. Fine. Okay, so let's set up our project. How? Go to your favorite browser. Okay, type here spring initializer. Okay, and click on this link. Done. Here give your project name, to do application. Fine. Add the dependency. The very first dependency is web dependency. Okay, the second dependency is we are using MySQL, so we need to add MySQL driver. Fine, MySQL driver. Okay, third thing is JPA, Spring Data JPA. Okay, good. Fourth thing is we are using Thymeleaf, so use Thymeleaf. Fine. And all things over. Fine. Web, MySQL, JPA, and okay, good. Two more dependency, will add them externally. Okay, fine, no worries. So now, okay, so now generate it. Let me save here. Let me save in my folder. Okay, it's saving zip file. Go there, extract the zip file, extract all, extract. Go to my Eclipse. Here is my Eclipse. Let me import it. Import Maven, existing Maven project. Browse where I have saved. You go today. Okay, to do application. Select folder. Finish it. Finish where? Yeah, here is my to do application. This is my to do application basic setup. Open pom.xml. Okay, and scroll down. You can see there are 4 dependency what we have added. The first is JPA, Thymeleaf, okay, Spring Web and MySQL connector. Okay, good. Done. Now let's start. What we're gonna do first? Let's create this to do class. Okay, so let me first create a package, okay, by the name NTT. Okay, now let me create a class. Let me create a class to do. Okay, let me zoom it. Fine. Now the properties are test task content and completion status boolean string. Okay, private string task con content. Okay, private string com status. Okay, status is good. Completion status. Okay, fine, done. Now we want that when we run our application, Spring will create the to do table in the MySQL database, in our database. So we need to do the configuration. First configuration is let Spring know using at entity. So now Spring is when we run our application, Spring will scan. Okay, and Spring get to know, okay, at entity annotation is added in this class, so we need to create a this class table. Fine. Next thing, we need to add the ID. Okay, so private, let's keep it long, and ID. Okay, next thing, we need to inform Spring that this is my ID. Okay, so there's another annotation ID. Okay, okay, one more thing, that is we don't want to give ID explicitly. This is my form. This is my form. Here is my input and here is my button. User will come here and write here task and click on the button. Okay, so task will automatically set here. This completion status automatically by default it is false. What is this? And who will give this ID value? So we want that whenever we create a row in the table, this row ID, this and this, the ID will be auto generated whenever row inserted. So ID will be auto generated 1 2 3 4 whatever. So to do that we have another annotation at generated. Okay, okay, generated value. Okay, it takes one argument, that is strategy. Okay, now why strategy? See how you wanna generate this ID sequence wise. Okay, random, any unique values, 1 7 9 8 23 unique values. Okay, you want to fetch from other table. Fine, so how? Using this strategy will decide. So generated type dot you can see auto, identity, sequence, table from other table, UUID. Fine, so we'll keep it as auto. Okay, fine. So this ID will act as a primary key. You know primary key? If you don't know, then wait, I'll start the MySQL SQL playlist also. Okay, fine. Now everything looks good. Okay, yeah, few things remaining, getters and setters. Okay, so source generate getters and setters, select all. Okay, fine. See, we have also other annotations to generate getters and setter. No need to write this all methods, public get id, set id, get task, set task. No, just one annotation, add data. So that comes under project Lombok. Okay, you can see this is add dependency Lombok. Yeah, Lombok. Okay, so I'll tell you in the later some other videos, dev tools, Lombok API. Okay, fine. So this is the normal basic way to generate getter setters. Okay, done. Another thing is when we start our application, so Spring will create the table by this name, default class name. Suppose if you want to change the table, if you don't want to generate the table name by this class. So there's another annotation, add table, and write here name equals suppose you want the table name should be task table. Okay, task table. Fine. To do table. Okay, so Spring will create the table by this name. Okay, you have mentioned. Fine, done, everything done. To do is created. Now 50% job is done, not 50%, 30%. This is Thymeleaf is more percent. Okay, fine. So now let's create a HTML form. How to create HTML? Go to src1 resources. In the template folder, we'll kept our HTML form, not JSP, HTML file. uh, task task.html. Okay, task to do.html, task.html. Okay, any name you can give. Fine, this is my HTML. Let me complete the basic skeleton. HTML. Okay, head. Okay, title, to do, application, done, body. Okay, done. This is the basic skeleton. Fine. Now to write the Thymeleaf, see, in previous video we are using a JSP. Why? Because in JSP we can write both. We can write the HTML coding and the Java coding also. For that we are using Thymeleaf. Thymeleaf is more standard and recommended. Okay, we don't need to use just this brackets and all, just nothing. Fine. So to use the Thymeleaf we need to do two things. First is the dependency. The dependency we have already added. Second thing is we need to add the Thymeleaf URL here to use the Thymeleaf attributes components. How to add? In the HTML tag xmlns colon th. Th is a prefix. Using this prefix we will use the tags action, method, form, whatever. Okay, so equals and the URL http and thymeleaf.org URL. Okay, done. Now we are ready to use the Thymeleaf. Next thing, see, see how I am coding. I tell you this now. I'm not coding. Okay, fine. This is all. No, step by step, so that you'll get confidence, and after this to do application you can enough building any application, because we've used database, Thymeleaf, MVC pattern, everything. Just create this code flow and done. So if you haven't subscribed, then please subscribe. Okay, if you want, then I'll create more project videos like bank application, everything. There are 42 projects in my list, so please subscribe because I need your support. Okay, fine. So next thing is let's create a form. Okay, HTML created, let's create a form. How to create a form? Simple. You are expert in that. Form. Okay, method. Okay, fine. Form contains a input type and a button. Okay, fine. Form contains input type equal text, name equals placeholder equals enter, write your task. Okay, and button type equal submit. Okay, add to do. Okay, now you can see I have kept 3 attributes empty. The first is action, second is method, third is name. Okay, let's take one by one. So action, In action, we'll write the URL to which we need to send our form data. The URL to which we need to send our form data. Okay, so let me write add to do. Okay, any URL you write and we'll handle this URL in our controller and make our operations. Fine. Next method. You are sending the data, you are receiving the data, okay, you are modifying the data, you are deleting the data, what? Okay, so get, post, put, delete, patch, what method? Okay, here we are sending the data to the server. So we'll write here post. Don't worry. From the next video, I'm starting REST API after coupling REST API. Okay, in that I'm gonna explain you in detail with examples. Okay, for now keep it. Now the name. Okay, so let me explain you in this way. You go there, let me maximize it. Okay, fine. This is my to do class. Okay, and this is my that HTML. Okay, consider this is a browser. Consider this is a browser. Okay, and this is the form, looks like input type, and here is a button, add to do. Okay, consider this form looks like this and it is a browser. Fine. Now tell me what is the purpose of this input type. This is the user. Okay, user want to create the task, so user will write here task content and click on the add to do button, right? User will write here in this input type, user will write the task content, okay, task content, and click on the add to do button. Now I've told you, if you remember, that when user click on this add to do button, a request will go to the controller and request will carry the to do object. The request will carry the to do object with the task content, equal to what user has written here, what user has given. Okay, so to do that we need to map it with the our form, our input type. Okay, so that when user click on the submit button, we will get the to do object with the task content equals to what user has wrote here. So how to map it? The variable name, copy the variable name, okay, and in the name just paste it. Fine. Suppose there is another field. You can add another field, for example private string and task description. Okay, so we'll add here one more input type. Okay, one more input type equals text. Okay, and name equals task description. Fine, task description. Okay, so when user will submit and Spring will see, okay, you have submitted the form and the input type is mapped with the to do class variables. Okay, in the controller we will fetch the to do object. How we will fetch? Don't worry. We will fetch the to do object with the task content and task description equals to what user has entered. We will fetch the object with the updated these values. Okay, that's why we need to map it. And how to map it? Using the name attribute. Okay, fine. So currently we are not we only want the task content, that is input field. You can add task description. So here also fine. I hope you got the concept. Okay, now our create part is done. Okay, there is a lot remaining in this HTML file. the actual Thymeleaf, how to use for each loop in Thymeleaf, and how to pass the ID. Okay, how to use the URL pattern. Okay, many more things. It's just a 20%. Fine, because currently we need to create a form and we have created. Fine, it's not a Thymeleaf, it's a basic. Okay, next let's create our 3 layer controller, service, repository. Okay, fine, very simple, package and class. So first let me create the package. My package is a class, and okay, and package is controller. Okay, controller, and the class is to do controller. Okay, controller. Oh, okay, fine. Similarly, let me create quickly service class, packages, service, and to do service. To do service. Okay, fine. Service. Okay, now um okay. Okay, so other is repository. Okay, wait, to do a little bit theory required. Repository, to do repository. Okay, to do repository. Okay, fine. Now just please focus. We are going to see 3 ways to perform DB operations. Okay, most important. First, using entity manager interface. Okay, second, using CRUD repository. Third, using JPA repository. Okay, I know many of you are thinking that okay, why not directly JPA repository? I can show you, I can create directly using JPA repository. It's very easy. Create an interface and extend JPA repository. And you need to do nothing. There are already method defined, predefined method. Call it and perform the CRUD operations. Create, update, delete, and fetch. But this course is for interview preparation also, and this is the most important. So you need to know all 3 things. It's a core hibernate. It's a core hibernate using entity manager. Okay, so you should know all 3 ways how to perform the operations, how to talk to database and perform the CRUD operations. Okay, this playlist is for from basic to advanced. Okay, that's why. Fine, I hope you understand. Okay, okay, fine. So we have created all 3 layers: repository layer, service layer, and controller layer. Fine. Now let's see controller, service, and repository. Okay, fine. Now let's achieve each and every functionality, that is create, update, delete, get all. Okay, and then later we'll see in Thymeleaf will achieve this task completion status. Okay, fine. So let's start with the controller layer. Okay, and let's create this all methods. Let's create all these methods to handle each and every operations. Okay, so create, update, delete and get. Okay, fine. Public string create. Okay. Fine. Create to do. Okay, create to do. Update to do. Delete to do. Okay, and get all to do. Okay, done. Okay, done. Now, now, as I told you that we are collecting in the let's take one. Okay, so let's take first create. User come here. User want to create the task. User write here task and click on this add to do button. Okay, so the request will go to the create. Now in the create we want this to do object. Okay, fine. So here let me put parallel. Okay, you come here. Okay, fine. Add request mapping. Fine. See, here we'll use request mapping for all. Fine. From the next video, as we will study the REST API. So from there we will use the specific name mapping. If we are getting get mapping, if we are posting post mapping, deleting delete mapping, updating put mapping. Fine. So for now let's use request mapping only. Value equals this. Okay, to handle, and method equals request method dot post. Okay, because post. Fine. So when I hit the submit button, this method will handle this request. Okay, to add this add to do. Okay, now I want here the to do object. Okay, with the task content what user will give in this input. I want here the to do object. Okay, with the task content to do object. Okay, to do object with the task content equals to what user will give here. Okay, fine. So we need to use at model attribute. This is the annotation. Fine. And what we want, to do object. To do. Okay, done. We will get it with the task content variable name, task content value equals to what user will give in the input. Okay, fine. Now here, now from this we need to call the service layer by passing this to do object, so that service layer will pass to the repository and repository will contact and then save this to do into the database. Okay, fine. So to contact the service layer, I need the service layer object. How to get service layer object? Auto wire it. To do service. Okay. Auto wired. Fine. To do service dot save to do. Okay. And we'll pass this to do object. To do. Okay. Let me close it. Fine. Yeah. So the to do object will pass in the service layer. Let's create this method in the service layer. Service, this is the service. Okay. Public void. Create save. Okay. What is the method name? I've given here save to do. Okay. Save to do. It is good. So this is, and I'm getting the to do, right? To do here. Fine. See here, where is my diagram? Here in the create method I'm getting, along with the request I'm getting, using model attribute, I'm getting the to do object with the updated content. Now my job is to pass that to do object here with the request. Okay, so I'm passing. I'll create here method. Now my job is to pass this to here in the repository, so that he will contact to the database and save that to do object in the this database here. Okay, so I pass to the service layer, and now my job is to pass that to do object to the repository. Okay, so how to pass? I need the repository object. How to get auto wire it to do repository, okay, auto wire it. Okay, done. Now to do repository dot save, save. Okay, save method. Fine. Now let me go to the repository, and there is the magic. Okay, please be focused. Let me pass the to do object also. I'm gonna write the methods, the entity manager methods. Okay, please be focused. Where's my repository? Here's my repository. Okay, fine. Okay, so at first we will declare the entity manager interface. Okay, so private entity manager interface, entity manager. Okay, we will add one annotations, persistence context. Fine. Now in the service layer I'm calling a save method which should be inside the to do repository. So let's create a save method in the to do repository. Public void save. Okay, and I'm getting here the to do, right? To do. Okay, now see here, entity manager dot persist and to do. Done. It will save this to do object here in the database, MySQL database. Yeah, done. One more thing you need to do. You need to write the add transactional annotations in this method, because we are doing the transactions. When we are modifying the records, we need to add transactional annotations. Okay, fine. This is what when we are making operations, we are saving the data, updating, deleting, modifying everything, getting using the entity manager, and you should have to learn it. Okay, I know there are many folks who want direct, who want directly that please teach me this. JP repository, it's nothing. JP repository is just an interface, and you have to do nothing here. Just few method and done everything. But you should know everything. Entity manager, basic hibernate. I am teaching you hibernate. Okay, then CRUD repository and then JPA. Fine. Create operation is done. Okay, create operation is done. Okay, now let me do one thing. Let me run my application. Yeah, let's see the create operation is working or not. Let's see whether my task is saving into the database or not. Wow, it's a great idea. Implement the functionality and check there itself. Okay, fine. So repository is done. Okay, service is done. Controller. Okay, fine. So for now, return success. Okay, and add response body. Fine. See what annotation response body is doing. it is returning this success as a string in the browser. It will not search the success view. Generally we'll write here the view name, okay, HTML page name. But when we write at response body, no, it will not search. It will return this success as a string to the browser. Okay, for now. Let me comment these methods, this functionality for now. Okay, because we are checking the create functionality. Okay, everything is done, no errors. To do repository, to do class, no. Form, let me check the form. Okay, everything is done. Add to do. Okay, controller, add to do. Fine. Let me run my application. Oh, one thing. Wait. We need to do one thing, one important thing. We haven't done the MySQL configuration. Okay, we haven't done. See, MySQL is a third party. MySQL is a third party. How Spring will unlock it? How Spring will insert the record? First, Spring need MySQL username, URL, password. Definitely. So we need to inform Spring, okay, this is my MySQL configurations. Then you will make the operations, CRUD operations. Okay. So where we need to make the where we need to do the configuration? src and resources. Right click, file, application.yml. Okay. Yeah. Now just focus here. Spring, okay, colon, enter, two space, will follow the two space convention. Okay, fine. Then data source, it's a data source, colon, two space, URL, okay, inside it URL, username and password, and driver class name. Okay, fine. Okay, in URL, okay, URL and one space. Fine, URL colon one space. JDBC colon MySQL colon, okay, local host. Fine, we are running in localhost, port number 3306. While installing the MySQL, you will give this port number. By default is 3306. And here the database name. Let me create the database right now. So see, I'm not comfortable in Workbench, so let me create the database using my command line. Okay, so create database, to do application. Okay, create database to do application. Okay, created. Fine, use to do application. Okay, fine, show tables. So you can see empty set. Currently in the database there is no table because just now we have created. Okay, so to do application. Okay, so let me give here to do application. Done. Username, my username is root, password space, my password is, okay, driver class name is the okay, driver class name. So we need to give the driver name, com dot mysql dot cj dot jdbc dot driver. Okay, no change, just as it is, copy it. Okay, next thing we need to give the JPA. Okay, see, JPA in the Spring, not the data source. In the data source these are properties, it is in the Spring, so we need to just write here after Spring. Okay, JPA, then two space database platform. Okay, we need to give the dialect of MySQL. How to find it? Open any Java file. Let me open this file. Open Java file, Control Shift T. Okay, Control Shift T. Right here MySQL 8. You can see MySQL 8 dialect. Click here. Okay, select it, right click, copy qualified name, go to there, paste it here. Okay, see org.hibernate.dialect.mysql8 dialect. Done. Okay, then okay, mm, hibernate, hibernate, hibernate colon space ddl auto update. Okay, there are many properties like update, create drop. For now update, I'll tell you later, okay, what all are present. Fine. Next is show sql true. Okay, see, when hibernate will create, when we run our application and hibernate will create the table in the database, so we want to see the query. That's why show sql, it is true. Okay, done. Fine, the database is created. Okay, and we have done the configuration. Now let me run my application. Everything looks good. Okay, ready? I'm also ready. It's done. Okay, so let me run my application. Java application. Okay, it's running. hmm. See, create table, to do table. Okay, let me open the to do table. See, we have explicitly tell Spring that okay, I want the table by this name. So it has create table, to do table, and ID. Okay, completion status fine, task content. So completion status, task content, ID. Okay, primary keys ID fine, good, very good. Okay, and these two are the sequence table. Okay, for the hibernate purpose, fine. Now let me go to the database, and now let me again do the show tables. You can see there are two tables, to do table and to do table sequence. It's for hibernate purpose. Okay, don't worry about that. Select star from to do table. Okay, empty set, nothing is present. DESC to do table. See, okay, DESC means describe my table. So there are three fields. In the fields, ID, completion status, and task content. Okay, type begin bit. Okay, because it is a boolean. Okay, bit 0 or 1 fine, and varchar string. No, yes, fine, because it is a varchar. Primary key ID, and the by default is null. Okay, fine. Now let me open my browser. Wait a minute. One second. We need to load this task.html. Okay, we need to load in the browser this task.html so that we can see this form and we can create our task. So okay, so let me create one more method. When the application load, let me create one more method so that we can load our this task html to the browser. How? Simple. Public string load form, any method name, and it is returning simple return task. Okay, task and request mapping. Simple. Will not give any mapping here because we want that when we run our application and when we load localhost 8080, control will directly enter here because there is no mapping. Okay, so on localhost 8080 it will enter here return task. It will search okay task.html and render this page, this form. Fine. Okay, now again let me rerun it. Okay, for that I'll use developer tools later. Okay, so let me again rerun it. Fine, it's running, no worries. Okay, let me go to my browser and hit localhost. Okay, go to my browser again. Yeah, see here. So we have created the form. Where is my that? We have created the form. This is the form which input and add to do button. Input and add to do button. Now let me write any task. Go to my first task is go to office. It's not a task. We need to go to office. Okay, so go to the office. Okay, fine. Let me click on the add to do button. Success. See, I told you that add response body will return. See here in the controller here, it is returning the task HTML page. Okay, because we have not added here the response body here, so it will search the task HTML page and return it if it is present. But here, if you want to return the string, then add response body. So it has done return success. Let me go to the database, select star from to do table. Yeah, got it. Go to office, insert it, completion status 0 0. Okay, because boolean, so initially it was 0, not done, false, false. Let me go to my this workbench also, refresh it. So this is my to do application. Okay, table is there, fine. And let me load the table. Yeah, completion status 0, false, id is 1, auto generated, and go to office, that is we have given the task. Okay, fine. Let me again go to go to go to long drive on Merc my Mercedes. Okay, add to do, success. Go to again, yeah, go to the long drive on my Merc. Fine, task is not done. Okay, we'll handle it later in using Thymeleaf. Creation is working. Okay, so fine, let's go next. Let me stop the application. Okay, and let me zoom out little bit. Okay, fine, creation is done. Okay, we have seen we are able to create the records in the database. Now let's do another functionality, that is get all, fetch the records. We are able to save the records. Now let's fetch the record from the database and display in the browser. Okay, so please uncomment it. Okay, uncommented, fine. And let me just write it here above this. Okay. Okay, same thing, request mapping. Okay, and to do service dot get all to do's. Fine, so let me create this method in the service, public list, because I want the list of to do. Okay, and this method, so this will call the repository. Okay, get all or find all. Okay, return. Let me create find all in the repository. Public list. Okay, list of to do, because see, select star from to do, same thing we are gonna achieve it. Okay, find all, and yeah, now how to get all the these details, how to get, select star from, what is our to do table, right? To do table. So how to get these all records as a list using entity manager. Entity manager dot create query. Okay, query. Now what we need to do is we need to write the HQL query. Okay, HQL, Hibernate Query Language. Okay, don't worry about it. I will create a separate playlist. Okay, it's similar to SQL only, but there are few changes. It uses alias, okay, instead of star, and it uses colon, okay, and there are few changes. Fine, so don't worry about it. See here, I want to get all these to-dos. So what should be the SQL query? Select star from to-do table. Okay, what should be the HQL query? Select same alias T from the class name to do. Okay, to do T. Done. Now you can also write in this way. Just remove it and write just from and class name to do and comma the class to do dot class. That's all. Okay, fine. Now this is equals to the typed query. Typed query. Okay, and to do. Typed query. Okay, fine. Return typed query dot get result list. Fine. So we are getting the list of to do. See, we are creating the query using entity manager. We are creating the query. What query? See, as the it indicates, this method indicates we are creating the query. What query? From to do. Just like select star from to do table. So from to do, and this is we have specified the class. Fine. So it will give me a typed query which contains the list of all to dos which is available in my database. So we'll fetch it and then return it. Okay, see, when we'll use the CRUD repository, when we'll use the CRUD repository or JPA repository, so we don't need these all. Okay, just we'll call find all method. These all will take care by Spring itself, but you should know everything for the interview purpose. Okay, I always told you that this is the best course, not for just learning purpose, for interview purpose also. For interview purpose you should know everything, entity manager, everything. Okay, fine. So, and yeah, I also told you that we're not going to leave anything. I'll teach you JPA CRUD. Fine, next project. Okay, so okay, fine, we are getting the list. Fine. So again reverting back to the service. Okay, and here, so we are getting the list of to do. Okay, list of to do's. Fine. Okay, and let's return the, let me remove this. Okay, by default we'll call this method, so it will display our all our to do's when we load the application. Okay, so return task. Okay, task.html task. Fine. So when we run the application, we don't have any mapping, so it will first fetch all the result. It will get all my this to do's. Okay, and then it will load the task.html. So it will load this form, and after it will write this the Thymeleaf program to see all the data to do's. Okay, simple. Fine. So it is returning task, and now we want to send this data, this list, to my HTML so that user can see it. How to send? I already told you, using model. Okay, and using the key value pair, we need to add the attribute. Add attribute. My key is list, to do list, to do list. Okay, and value is this, value is this, list of to do's. Fine, this is the key. Using this key we will fetch just like we are using JSP, but now Thymeleaf. Okay, now let's go to my HTML. Yeah, now here we need to display the list of to do's what we are getting here, the list of to do's. Okay, to the in the browser. Okay, so that user can see it here. Fine, now tell me what is the HTML tag to display the list. UL, LI, unordered list or order list, and LI. Okay, fine. So UL and LI. Fine, simple basic HTML, simple HTML. Okay, now fine, but how to get these this list, how to get this list and how to display all the contents inside it, how to do it? Tell me. uh, in Java, how to display the contents of the list using for each. Okay, so let's use the for each in Thymeleaf. Okay, so first let me write the for each in Java so that you can compare. Int I equals item. Okay, equals, not equals, colon item list. Okay, this is what the basic in Java. In Thymeleaf, list, first you need to write the th prefix. Okay, th. Okay, colon, because using the prefix only you can use the attributes. So th colon. Now for each. Okay, equals variable name, suppose I'll give to do. Okay, colon list. Okay, I'm getting the list, list using this key. Let's use this key. How to use the key? Curly braces, key, and outside dollar. Okay, now that's all. Now here in the list I'm getting one by one to do's, these to do's, one by one. Okay, I hope you got the concept. Fine, now let me remove this Java for each and nothing is remaining. Now we need to display the this each and every to do's. Okay, so let me use the h4. Okay, again we gonna use the Thymeleaf th dot text equals this to do. Okay, so to do in the first curly braces, to do. Okay, and the dollar. Fine, it is the list for each we have used, so it works as a for each statement, and one by one it is displaying in the h4 this to do. Okay, because I'm getting the variable, this is the variable value. Okay, done. Let me run it. Second operation is done. Let me run it quickly. Java run. Okay. Let me go to the data browser. Let me hit localhost. Oh, okay, fine. We are getting the, also we need to fetch. See, we are getting the object, we need to fetch it. Okay, fine. So that's good. You can see here we are fetching the to do's, we are fetching the each and every to do's. We need to fetch the task content. Fine, simple. To do dot task content. task content. Okay, now again let me run it. Java application, fine. Okay, okay. See, go to office and go to long drive on my Mercedes. Let me add one more task. Play basketball. Success. Refresh it. See, play basketball appears. Okay, so we are adding the task and displaying here, and these are coming from the database. Okay, so play basketball, fine, done. Okay, where is my terminate it? Okay, done. Update and delete left. Okay, now let's initiate the update. Okay, so okay, here we are displaying these tasks, but we don't want like this way. What we want is this is my browser. Okay, this is my browser. Okay, and this is my input. This is the add to do button. Similarly, this is that, and here is this. What I want is, this is my input type. In the input type I will set these value, like go to office. Okay, and here one checkbox, here one update button, and here one delete button. Yeah, so similarly, if suppose I have 3 tasks, so this is Mercedes and basketball, and checkbox that completion status, if it is completed or not, update button, delete button, update button, delete button. Okay, just like we have seen at starting. So now we want this input as a checkbox, update button and delete button. Fine, let's code it. Okay, let me remove it. First thing, input type text. Okay, in the input type I want the value, the same value what coming in the to do. Th value equals to do dot task content. Okay, to do dot task content, this. Okay, and name equals, this is the input for task content, so name equals task content. Done. Name equals task content. Okay, so this is the input created. Fine, I want another input. So input, now this is the type, input type checkbox. Okay, for the completion status, task done or not done. Okay, checkbox, fine. And see, checkbox doesn't have the value. Okay, checkbox doesn't have the value, but checkbox has one attribute, that is checked, whether it is checked or not checked, true or false. So that's why we have created this boolean completion status. Fine, so th checked equals, okay, so the status of this checkbox is equals to the value I am getting in to do dot completion status. Okay, and name equals this field name. Okay, field name, done. Okay, done. Okay, next thing is input type checkbox update button. Button type equal submit. Okay, update. Okay, fine. Now there is one thing remaining. Yeah. Okay, so this is the input type. Okay, okay, this is the input type. It is the another input type checkbox. Fine, and it is my button. Okay, now okay, let's consider the some real world scenario. So let me go to my here. So suppose this is my web browser. Okay, and this is my this add to do button. Okay, here is my input, and this is I've created input type. This is I've created checkbox. This is I've created update button, and this delete button I'll create. So first consider this update. Okay, because we are doing updation. Now okay, so when we click on the update, so it should update. That means we have to create a update form. Okay, this is the very first thing. We have to create the update form. Okay, so let me enclose it in a form. Form action method. Okay, this is the what? This is the form. Let me enclose this complete into the form. Okay, so done. Now like are you getting, this is the complete. Suppose here I am displaying this to do's. Okay, these to do's, these to do's. Okay, now here the checkbox, and here's the update. Suppose I update something else, I need to click the update. So to click the update I need to send this data to a controller. That means I need to enclose this in a form so that I will send this data to a URL pattern which handle in controller. That's why I enclose it in a form. Done. Okay, okay, now two things left. One is action and one is method attribute. Okay, so before that let me run the application using debugging mode, the most important part. Okay, let me show you how Hibernate is fetching all the records, the backend process, and what query it is executing. Okay, it's a most interesting part using debugging. Fine. So first let me go to the controller and let me put the debug pointer here. Why? Because when I run my application and when I hit localhost 8080, it will first enter in this method. In this method. Why? Because there is no URL pattern. In this method you can see there is a URL pattern add to do. So when I hit localhost 8080 slash add to do, then it will hit this, it will the control enter in this method. But in this case there is no URL pattern, so by default on hitting localhost 8080 control will enter here. That's why I put the debug pointer here, so that it will stops here, and we'll see one by one. Okay, fine. So everything looks good. Let me run the application. Debug as Java application. Okay, everything is okay. Okay, fine, it's running. Version 3.3 current version, and okay, so Tomcat started on port 8080. Fine, let me go to my browser, localhost slash 8080. Okay, hit it. You can see control enter in this method and stops here because of debug point. Now there is a I am calling a method get all to do's in the to do service, in the to do service class, to get all the to do's. Okay, so let me go to the to do service. Okay, this is the method. Let me put the debug pointer here also and proceed it. See, control now comes here. From the controller, control comes here. See, I'm just telling you the flow. Okay, just like request. So control comes here. Okay, now here I'm calling find all method in to do repository. Now control is going to the repository. Just like imagine that diagram. Okay, this diagram, this diagram. Okay, so let me go to the to do repository and find all. Okay, let me put the debug pointer here. Proceed. See, now control come here and then it will execute this line. Executing. Okay, yeah, executed. And then now just focus. When I again, let me put the debug pointer here also, because it is again coming now. So let me put go there. See, it got executed and it came here. The next line, fine. So when I hover on this, see, I got the list. I got the three to dos. I got the three to dos. Let me show you. One to do. Okay, you can see. Go to office. The second one, go to drive on my Mercedes. And the third one, go play basketball. Fine. So I'm getting the three to dos. Okay. Now you can see in the console what query Hibernate run. This is the query. Select this dot from to do table. From to do table and t1 underscore 0. So t1 underscore 0 is the alias. Okay. In place of to do table, I can use this. So what it is doing, it is just selecting all the fields and then from to do table. Simple. So select t1 underscore 0 dot id. Okay, t1 underscore 0 dot completion status and t1 underscore 0 dot task content. Okay, from to do table, and this is the alias. Simple. So this is similar to select star from to do table. Select star from to do table, I'm getting the list, returning the list. List got returned here. Now I'm just sending using model. I'm just sending this list to my view. Okay, to my view. So now let me run it again, and now let me go to the browser. See here, I'm getting all the task. Okay, this all the task, not this. Yeah, go to office, long drive, and basketball. Okay, everything. And here it is loading, because here in add to do list I'm getting the list, and using this for each I am fetching one by one. Okay, and I'm running this for each. This is the for each. Consider this is a for each, this list. Okay, this is the for each, and one by one it is just displaying like input, check, and button update. So input type, input, check, and button. Okay, again input. So for each. Okay, and this is complete a one to do. Okay, I hope you got it. Fine. So one input for this to do dot task content, other input the checkbox, which is the to do dot completion status. Currently by default, let me just show here. So by default it is 000, that means false. Okay, so by default it is unchecked. And one is the update button. Okay, so this is what update button. See, I have shown you using debugging. Fine, like how it is fetching, what query it is running. That's why I told you it's the best Spring course. So if you haven't subscribed, then please subscribe. Okay, fine. Now now these two important thing I want to update. So let me go there and let me update some. Let me update this, that go to instead of long drive go to short drive, and then save it into the database. Okay, so I explained you, like when user will click on this update button, when user will click on the update, so request will carry two things, id and the to do object, which contains the new task content. Okay, here in the update method. Okay, and then we'll pass here in the service, and using the id we will fetch old to do. Okay, and replace it with the new to do, and then save it. Okay, fine. So now let's achieve it. Okay, so this thing, method is simple, method is post because we are sending the data. Okay, action. Now let me use the Thymeleaf action, th action. Okay, fine. Now first let me add the URL pattern so that I'll handle in the controller. So how to add the URL pattern in Thymeleaf? Curly braces, add the red, and inside same thing, slash update to do. Okay, so in the controller, this is my update to do method. So here also I'll add the URL pattern, the same URL pattern, update to do. Fine. Okay, okay, so let me add simultaneously, add request mapping. Okay, value equals slash update to do. Okay, next thing is I want the id. Now let me zoom it, curly braces and id. Okay, so you can see I have put the id in the curly braces. That means this id is just a variable. I need to feed with the actual id. How? You can see how. Here I am getting the list. I am getting each and every list. I am getting the each and every list, each and every to dos. Okay, the list of to dos. Okay, and in to do I am getting the one to do. One to do means I am getting id, status, and office. So from that I'll fetch the id and then pass it to the URL. Pass it to the URL of update. Okay, so how to pass it? Here I have given in the curly braces id, that means it is a variable. Now I need to feed it. How to feed it? Okay, id equals dollar, okay, this to do dot id, this id. Okay, to do dot id. Okay, to do dot id, this id. So to do dot id will insert it in this variable, and then when I hit update, the update button, so it will go to the URL update to do slash a particular to do id. This this particular to do id. This particular to do id. Suppose I hit the update of this to do, so it will give me this go to office to do id. You can see this go to office to do id 1. If I hit second update, so it will give me this go to long drive to do id 2. If I hit basketball, so it will give me 52. Okay, particular to do id. That's why I have written inside this. Okay, fine. Okay, so this is what my URL. Okay, see, it's simple once you understand. Okay, now update part is over regarding Thymeleaf. Let me go to my controller and handle the request. Okay, now here also, here update to do and id, same thing, update to do and id. Okay, now how to get it, how to fetch that id from the URL. If you want to fetch anything from the URL, then there is a specific annotation, that is path variable, at path variable. Okay, id and long id. Fine. And other thing is I need to fetch the to do object. Same thing, just like I'm fetching here. So model attribute and same thing. Okay, done. Now the to do service, dot update to do. Okay, in that let me pass the id and to do. Okay, fine. Let me create a method update to do in my to do service. Now the same thing. So get all, save, now update. Let me create public void update to do method. I'm getting the long id and to do, new to do. Okay, this is the updated content to do. Okay, now first wait. So let me use the optional, because there may be possibility that I will using this id I am here fetching the old to do. So may possibility that I can get the null value from database. So how to prevent null pointer exception? Using optional. I already told you in my last video. Okay, so to do repository, okay, dot find to do by id. Let me pass the id here. Let me create this method, because here using this I am first getting the old to do. The old to do. Go to office. Okay, and then replace the task content, because here I'm getting the new to do. Okay, so repository. Okay, repository. Public to do. No, optional to do, and the method is find to do by id on the repository to fetch old one, long id. Okay. Oh, okay. Now to do equals using the entity manager how to find a specific to do using the id. How? Entity manager dot find. Okay, give here the class to do dot class, and here the id. Done. Okay, so it will find a to do based on the id and return optional dot of nullable, because there may be possibility that it will return null value. So I'll do the to do actual value here. Okay, so using this we will prevent the null pointer exception. Now it is returning me optional, that means a optional box and to do inside. Okay, the actual meaning of optional. Fine. In the service class here I'm getting this, so I'm getting the optional of it. Okay, let me store in it optional. Okay, to do old, old box, to do old box. Optional is a box, inside box I have to do. So now let me put a method if to do old box dot is present. That means if it is not empty, if the value is present, if the to do is present in it, then oh, I need to use this. Then let me get the to do. So to do new, not new, old to do. Old to do equals dot get. Okay, I told you now in my last video, this is the optional box and inside it to do is present. Okay, so I have checked here if to do is present, that means if it is the content is present or not. If yes, then old box, the box dot get me this to do, and storing in this actual to do object. Okay, fine. Now nothing, old to do dot set task content. Okay, to this new to do task content, new to do dot get task content, old to do dot set completion status to new to do dot get completion status, and id is id only. Okay, now I need to update it. So to do repository dot update to do. Let me pass this old to do. Okay, this. Let me create this method update to do in my repository. So public void update to do, and here entity manager dot merge. I am passing here to do also. Okay, to do I'm modifying, so I need to use the add transactional. Okay, see here I haven't used the add transactional because I am fetching the record using id. Select star from to do table where id equal, so there is no modification in record, but here I'm saving, modifying, updating, modifying. So on that you need to use the add transactional. You are making transactions. Okay, so there is a method, merge method on entity manager, which will merge the changes. This is the updated changes we have set with the new task content and all the variables. And okay, fine. Okay, good. This is fine. So let me go to my controller, and it will again return the task. Fine. So return. So I need to redirect it again with this page with the updated content. So content is updated. Now let me again return the control here to here. So it again fetch the record, and then it will load the task HTML. Okay, fine. So there is one way, redirect, and let me add a URL pattern. This only slash, it means the same. That means when I load the localhost 8080, so this method will run. So redirect this. Okay, fine. So updated the record, and it is redirecting, return redirecting, and here the URL pattern. What is the URL? Slash. Okay, so it will matches with the slash, no, slash, yes. So again it will uh, enter in this get all to do. It will fetch the all to do's from the database which got updated, and then it will send the list and then displaying. Got it? Okay, so okay, fine. Now let me run my application. So first let me check everything. Okay, this is done. Service, okay, I'm updating. Repository, I'm merging. To do is okay. YML, okay. Task, oh, one second. Why it is giving me warning? Less, oh, form closing tag should be here. Okay, the list, and inside it is form. Okay, fine. So everything is okay. Now let me run my application. run run as. Okay. Fine, let me hit the URL localhost 8080. Okay, so yeah, so first it is showing me this 3. Okay, now let me update something. Play basketball to play football. Football. Okay, and when I click on the update, it should update and load this page with the updated value. Update. See, play football. Okay, when I refresh it, see, now go to my database, select star from to do table, play football, updated. Done? Yes or no? Okay, when I click on this checkbox, okay, when I click on this checkbox, fine, update. See here, it is checked only because the data is coming from the database. I have done this task, I have played football. When I go to the database, select star from to do table, you can see it changes to 1. Okay, initially it was 000, you can see it was 000. Now it changes to 1, that means true, true, a one single bit. Okay, updation is done. Similarly, the deletion, fetching and delete it similarly. Okay, so let's do it quickly. Okay, let's update one more. Go to short drive, not long drive, short drive, update. Okay, select star from to do table, go to short drive. Okay, fine. So uh, okay, so I want when I click on this checkbox, so this form will submit automatically and load it. Like I want, suppose I click on checkbox. Now I don't want to click on update. Okay, in actual to do application, when the checkbox got clicked, checked, then okay, it understood, fine, this is done and updated in the database. So when I click on the checkbox, simultaneously it should update. That means it should submit this form. So let me go to my task.html, and there is one attribute. Here is the checkbox. There is an attribute on change. On change equals this dot form dot submit. Hmm? Let's try it. Okay. So on click of the checkbox, that means our program should enough to understand. You have click on the checkbox, that means the program is done. So I need to load it and update in the database this completion status. There is no need to click on the update extra. So let me just load it again. Okay, and when I click on the checkbox, suppose I need to go to the short drive on my another car, that is on my, okay, INNOVA, Innova, Toyota Innova. Okay, so this is first, let me update it. Let me update it. So updated. Okay, go to my Toyota Innova. Okay, fine. So let me go there and then okay, now I have done this task. Go on short drive, I have done. When I click here, yeah, see, now I have not updated. Now I have not click on update, it got updated. Okay, when I click on refresh, it is updated. So when I'm checking it, it will automatically submitting the form. Okay, I don't need to, when I'm just editing the content, then I have to click the update. When I'm checking it, it is a completion status. When I'm checking it, that means done. Automatically submit the form. Okay, so see, it is coming from the database. Done. So this is what the on change. That means when checkbox is on changing, submit the form and update whatever status is this. Yeah, yeah, that is good. That is good. Okay, fine. Updation is done. Let's do deletion. Updation is done. Okay, updation is done. Similarly, same thing. Using the ID, fetch the old object, delete it. Deletion is more simpler. Okay, more simpler. So now the same thing. This is the form. Let me add the delete button because I need to add the delete button here. Here, right? Delete button. Okay. Input, not input. Button link. Yeah. A href equals. Okay. Delete. So let me just terminate it. So let me add first a link. Okay, and using here, let me handle the URL pattern. Fine, because see, in delete we don't need to send any data. We don't need to, just like here in update we are sending this data because I need to update it. In creation I am sending this data. That's why I use the form. But in deletion I don't need to send any data. Okay, I only need to send the ID, which I can send using the URL only, not any extra data. So why should I write the form? So in that case, you can also send the data using the href, the link. Okay, just give here the URL pattern and it will hit that URL pattern with whatever you are sending in URL. Okay, if you want to send the data like input type or whatever, then you need to use the form. Fine. So here, let me use the Thymeleaf href. How to give the URL pattern? Add the rate, delete to do. Okay, and how to send the ID? This is the ID I'm sending. Okay, fine. So, oh, I'll not copy it. ID equals, okay, dollar to do dot ID. Okay, fine. Delete is okay. Delete to do this ID. Go to the controller. Go. Okay, now let me uncomment our final execution, our final method. Request mapping. Okay, and the URL. This URL in double quotes. You can also write the URL directly. Okay, you need the value when there are more than one args are present. Okay, fine. So now I've mapped the delete. I mapped the delete URL. Okay, I'm not sending any data, so it will directly come here. Okay, and let me fetch this ID like it, path variable. Okay, as a name indicating path variable. Done. Now the only thing remaining is using the to do service. Let me call the delete method. Delete to do. Let me pass the ID. So let me create quickly delete to do method in to do service. Where is my to do service? Here is my to do service. Okay, save done, get all, fetch done, update done, final delete. Delete is final. long id, and using the repository dot delete to do by id. Okay, let me pass the id. Fine. In the to do repository, let me create public void. What is the method name? Method name is delete to do by id on the repository. Okay, I'm passing here long id. Okay, now when I need to fetch the to do using this id and then delete it. Okay, so first let me fetch it. So to do, okay, how to fetch by id I shown you here. Entity manager, entity manager dot find, write the class name to do dot class and the id you are passing. So here I am getting the to do which I want to delete. Now let me first do the null check. To do dot to do not equals null. Okay, if yes, then entity manager dot remove is a method, give the to do object. Okay, and final thing I need to add transactional attribute, because annotation, because I'm making the transaction, I'm modifying the record. Here I'm just getting, so not modifying. Saving, updation and deletion, modification, so transactional. Okay, fine. So our deletion is okay, service fine, controller. So now return redirect this URL pattern. Okay, so once the deletion is done, redirect to this URL pattern. What is the URL pattern? This is. So control will go here, search the URL pattern, and here is the URL pattern. It will again fetch all the to dos with deleted, and then it will load the task.html, okay, and load all the to dos. Fine. Updated table. So done. This is done. Let me first check it. Okay, so everything is done. Okay, run as Java application. Okay, let me go and hit the URL. Okay, local host 8080. Fine, you can see. Go to office, go to short drive, play football, checkbox, update, and here is a delete link. Now I want to delete go to office. Gone. Gone. Only two left. Let me check to the database. This is the go to office. Okay. Select star from to do table. See, only two left. Gone. Let me delete this also. Okay, see, it is deleting and going. See, delete from to do table where id equals question mark. The question mark here, I'm getting the id. See the queries, delete from, same queries. HQL is the same Hibernate query language. Okay, just using alias and few else. And this is the select query. Okay, we very well know. This is the delete. The first we deleted go to office, and this is the second we deleted. So see, that's why we have added here show SQL equals true. We want to show it like what query it is executing. Okay, so on deleting, it is redirect to this URL. It is redirecting to this URL and then fetching it and then displaying it in this task.html. Done. Done. Okay, now you'll ask me, okay, the demo you have shown is just a design, or okay, so I use the Bootstrap. Okay, so okay, so one thing, h1 to do application. Okay, let me go to my browser. Okay, get bootstrap, get bootstrap. Okay, get bootstrap. Fine, read the docs. Okay, copy this link, paste it in the head, format it, Control Shift F in the Eclipse. Okay, again go there, copy the JavaScript link, you can paste it here outside the body, you can paste it, format it. Okay, now you're using Bootstrap, so Bootstrap only works on the classes. Okay, you just suppose you want to put this to do application in center, so use the text center, or text center, or some text align class. Okay, and that class implementation, CSS implementation, is already done in the Bootstrap server. Just you need to use the classes and the design is appearing in your this document page. Fine, so first let me now run it. Okay, somewhat design. Okay, now let me load it again. See, somewhat good looking. Okay, now I want to design the button. I'm teaching Bootstrap. Okay, you can do like everything, functionality is over. Okay, now the design purpose you can do, suppose this is a button, so there's a class btn button and btn primary. This is a class, the implementation is already written in the Bootstrap server, we just need to use the class. Okay, let me run it. See, I am again and again restarting the server. Okay, so you might be thinking, okay, why not just like in a live server? When we save and when we load the page, it will appear the changes. So to do that, there is one library, Spring Dev Tools. Okay, you can see here, add dependency, Dev, Spring Dev Tools. Okay, so using this, you can just make the changes live. Okay, so you can see, let me just add it. I just thought to create another video of that, but for your dependency, okay, you can see, let me just turn off it. Okay, and in the pom.xml, let me add the dependency. Okay, the dependency is added, and first let me clean my project to do application, and let me update the Maven project. Okay, this is also fine. Okay, this is also fine. Now let me run my application, and now let you see. Okay, see, it's running. Okay, and let me load the application. So you can see I've used that class primary. Okay, I use this class here, this class button primary in the update. So you can see it is changes here. Fine, suppose I used button success. Okay, I saved it here. I now load it. See, now I no need to again restart the server. If I make the changes in any Java, suppose and I save it. See, it loading. Okay, there is no need to again stop, start. Fine. So just like live server, if you know, like in HTML. So similarly, and you can see, and this is the link. Okay, and but I want the link, I want it as a button. So class equals same thing, button, and danger, because it is a delete button, so danger. Okay, refresh it. See, delete, update. Okay, suppose I need to again play basketball, add to do button. So add to do button, class equals button secondary. Okay, button secondary. Fine. So you can see button secondary, play football, success. See, 2 came. Now I want to center it, class text center, text center. Okay, I guess. See, center. Just play with the classes, grid class, grid, everything class. So I just love to play with the Bootstrap. Okay, so can I use here also, class text center. Okay, okay, come to center. So let's use it everywhere. Class text center. Okay, yeah. So now I need to just use this decoration because I don't want to see it. Okay, okay, fine. So just need to play with this bootstrap and all, and rest all is done. Okay, functionality is over. Like you can use the table. Okay, in one you can just display this. It's working fine, all working right. Play football, and this is completed when I just complete it. So now it is done. Okay, fine, it is done now. Okay, delete it, update, go to the long drive, update it. Let me check it to the long drive. Okay, initially short, this got deleted. Let me delete this one also. So empty set. Okay, all are deleted. Okay, fine. So this is what our to do application. Okay, and if you like the video, then please subscribe. Okay, please share, subscribe, comment, and yeah, in the next video, from the next video, I'm gonna just create a video of coupling. Okay, and then let's start the REST API, and then 3 projects for REST API. Okay, fine. So if you like the video, then please subscribe, and thank you.